We have a very busy next 24 to 36 hours. Then things look to ramp back up again as we head into your Easter weekend. So if we take a look at the water vapor imagery this morning, we can see the area of low pressure that's been the culprit that left all the heavier snows. It continues to fly up there in northwestern Iowa, back into Minnesota, going into Wisconsin. It actually even fishtails all the way down into the Texas Panhandle. But further off to the east, that's where we have a renewed concern for more severe storms today and elevated flash flooding within this sector as that low pressure center continues to deepen, and that severe threat actually continues to escalate further south into the southeast. So I appreciate all my subscribers out there. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in to get all my daily updates on this channel. And I would love to reach 250,000 subscribers by the end of April. And you can help me get there by subscribing to the channel and following all my daily breakdowns. So here's the setup today. So we still have a lot of water vapor content to deal with and those elevated flash flooding concerns with a little bit more moisture. That's why the Weather Prediction Center has highlighted a fairly wide area of heavier rainfall. Those areas in green coming out of that squall line that hit Dallas-Fort Worth into the overnight hours now is going to be into East Texas. Those areas into green could pick up about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall over the next 24 hours. But further to the north, I showed you the water vapor content. That area could easily pick up 2 to 3. There's likely going to be some isolated 4-inch totals out of this sector within Arkansas, as well as into Mississippi, heading into Alabama. Lighter amounts as you swing up towards Missouri and back into Illinois. But further to the south, that's where we have to be concerned about an escalating severe weather threat. And they did, in fact, upgrade this to an enhanced risk or actually potentially strong tornadoes. There's actually an area within central Louisiana, central Mississippi that does, in fact, not only has that 10%, but it's also hatched. That basically means that some of the criteria could reach strong tornado potential. Unfortunately, this is an overnight setup. So I think the initial band is going to be a heavier rains, but the second swap that comes in, that's where we have to be concerned about tornadoes within this sector. And I think it gets all going into the evening hours. So unfortunately, it's a nocturnal threat that will likely continue into the wee hours of the morning overnight tonight. And there's a lot of winds associated with this as well. So you're going to be dealing with all those heavier winds as that system dives down from the northwest to the southeast. There is a fairly significant cold front that will be coming in on the backside. You can see that's all the snow up to the northwest there. And further to the south, we've got all the winds, the higher winds to contend with, but especially out towards Mississippi, back into Alabama, and especially there in western Tennessee, western Kentucky. Some of those wind gusts could approach 65, maybe even 70 miles an hour later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. And further to the north, back in Illinois, into Indiana, swinging over into Missouri. Yeah, some of those. We've got, a big area where they do, in fact, have those wind advisories in place. So for the next 6 weeks, we're going into the windiest time of the year. So expect a lot of surface maps to see a lot of high wind warnings and watches going to be associated with over the next 6 weeks, because this is an active setup. We're going into spring storm season, and this would likely continue to unfold during prime time. And that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. And to the northwest, there's that renewed swath of snow continues to be inundated. Yeah, that's still snowing there, folks, into the Texas Panhandle, into the Dalhart region. Even blizzard conditions continue to unfold in Nebraska. And then winter storm warnings that swings all the way up into central and northern Minnesota. They could easily pick up another 8 to 10 inches of snow before this winds down over the next 24 to 36 hours. But there's your helicity tracks further south. And I think things get going, like I mentioned, not until tonight. So the first round that you're going to be seeing that's coming out of Texas today, that's likely not going to be severe. That's going to be the heavier rain threat. But it's the second round that comes through. That's the more concerning round. And especially as we get into eastern portions of Louisiana, back into central Mississippi, that is the bullseye favorite area, if you will, has the highest potential to seeing a potential strong tornado or two within this sector. So you just have to be high alert. Expect tornado watches to be issued later on this evening within that sector. But there's the cold sector and the snow swath that's still to come, that dove down, and we actually bottomed out with a 978 millibar low pressure, and that continues to ramp up and continues to lift northeast. So this is what the snow swath is still going to be left behind, picking up several inches down there further south. But once you get up into Iowa and portions of southeastern South Dakota, as well as really all of Minnesota, is going to get clocked and continue to get clocked. And especially further north you live in Minnesota, central and northern Minnesota, that's where the heavier snows will unfold. But like I mentioned, there's the cold snap that comes back behind it. That's a fairly significant colder blast that does in fact reach all the way out down into the Gulf. And that's fairly rare this time of year to see a cold front reach all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. But I think that's where it stops as it continues to push off to the southeast and into the east. Definitely continues to moderate, and it loses its intensity because the low pressure actually going to be swinging up into Canada, and there's not much instability going to be left. So once we get past these next 24 or 36 hours, I think things start to settle down substantially. And it's all because you're going to be back behind that cold front. So here's the setup on Wednesday as we move forward through the middle of the week. There's the drier air that comes back behind it. So once this cold front enters the picture in your area, it's going to cleanse the atmosphere and clear it out. But actually on Wednesday, we're going to be watching those areas into the Carolinas where we could see this little lift, this buckle into the stationary boundary, lifting up as a warm front. Like I mentioned, they don't get the actual colder air, but they do get the warmer air associated with it. And we got a little bit more instability down in their Carolinas. So we could be looking at some elevated rains. Some of those could produce some isolated 3 and 4 inch totals, especially there in South Carolina, as well as into North Carolina. So definitely be on the lookout for a heavier rain swath as we get into the day on Wednesday. But further to the north, up in there in the Northeast, definitely lighter amounts, which is a welcome sign because I don't really need any more rain. And there's the snow will continue to start to wind down for those areas, and it'll eventually swing up there into Canada. But look what's happening out west. We're already going to be looking at our next system that's trying to come ashore, and it's all complements of this overall jet stream. So I think things settle down a little bit in the middle of the country for a couple days. You're going to be experiencing some really nice conditions. But with that renewed buckling of the jet stream, as this cleansing comes to fruition, that southwest winds is going to be kicking back into the picture, and that's an elevated wind and a warm wind. So we should expect to see a lot warmer conditions really start to unfold across the southern plains into the central plains, while we be watching another significant trough in this kind of S-shape jet stream that's typically has a lot of instability with it. And with that setup, especially in the warm sector out ahead of it and cold air out west, that would likely spell trouble for more rounds of severe storms. And as that low pressure continues to deepen up towards the Rockies, we could be looking at a renewed snow threat as we head into your Easter weekend. So here's the setup on the temperature map. I am expecting those temperatures to really start to elevate as we head into the weekend. This is March 30th. So if you live down there towards the southern plains, back into the southeast, all the way really up to the Midwest, we should be seeing those temperatures rapidly rebound and warming up in a big way. In fact, you could be back into the 80s for a good part of Texas once we swing into Sunday and especially head into Easter. But there's the little bit colder blast that will be coming in. I don't think it's as cold as what we're going to be seeing with this little cold shot, but a reinforcing shot of colder air that would set the stage for more snow as the low pressure would continue to deepen, and another low pressure would likely set up into the Rockies, back to those same areas into western Kansas, western Nebraska there. Again, I don't think it's as deep. This is down to a 988, but still fairly significant for late March. That would set the stage further south. Remember, we've got a lot warmer conditions this time. That way the dry line could get active again. It may not get active as far as Easter, but the day after Easter, heading into your Monday, we could be having a renewed severe weather threat start to unfold for those areas across the south. And for those areas across the north, we're going to have a renewed snow swath that will be inundated as that low pressure center continues to ramp down. So as it does, the snow will likely start to ramp back up again. So back to those areas into Utah once we hit this weekend for your 30th, 31st, heading into your April 1st time frame. That's the area that we could be looking at a renewed snow swath that would be likely setting up over Utah, back into Wyoming again, into Colorado there, back into Nebraska, as well as into South Dakota again, swinging up into southern portions of North Dakota, heading into northwestern Iowa. Kind of the same setup, right? Kind of a deja vu type setup, back into Minnesota and those areas into central and northern Wisconsin again. And then further south, we look at some of the instability in the atmosphere, and we'll have a lot warmer conditions to be dealing with back then. The temperatures will be back into the 80s, and then we have an active dry line. And this is actually the most significant CAPE, your convective available potential energy, that I've seen actually all spring, heading up to that 3,000 range. So we'll be having to fine tune this as we get closer. So this could be your next fairly significant severe weather setup as we head into that Monday, April 1st. And unfortunately, it does fall on April Fools. And I won't be joking if this thing does actually come to fruition. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely hit the subscribe button and catch me next update where I protect you before and after storm.